to guide your story, sort of just as you tell us the
Oh
information.
God. Okay. Oh my gosh. What do I do? So I'm Erin Devine, and I do a lot of things. I am sort of task challenged right now. I do a little bit of everything. I was just thinking about my title the other night. Artist scholar, artist writer, artist critic, artist curator. It depends on what day it is what I'm doing. So sometimes I'm a curator, sometimes I'm an art critic, sometimes I'm an artist. Most of the time I'm here teaching, but yeah. My path is always changing, so I don't know if I'm really on, I don't know how to say. It kind of just evolves, really. I guess I'd have to go really far back. I have actually been working in the arts for 20 years now. I was 22 when I started in an art gallery and a museum, and everything about my life has built or has revolved around that in one form or another, whether I'm teaching or I'm writing or I'm curating or I'm making art myself, or it's all, yeah. So I don't think that my life is terribly conventional. I think that would be the big reward. Yeah. It's illuminated so much about who I am in the world. You know, it's a real sense of being my own person and having a sense of individuality. I've met so many amazing people over the years. It's taken me to different countries. You know, I've curated shows in other countries. I've done residencies in other countries. I've met people from around the world, and I think that's a big aspect that continually opens me up to new experiences and new awarenesses of myself as a person and as an artist. And so it's just, I think when you're in the arts, when you're in any kind of artistic practice, it informs your viewpoint on the world in a way that's much less conventional than just sort of existing day to day on a 9-to-5 kind of, normal basis.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense. Yeah, it's kind of, but it's, I think that just, I'm in something that's a vocation, that's part of my being.
Right.
I have to make art, and I have to write about art, and I have to be involved in this world. It's not something that, I feel like I have to do. It's something that's very much ingrained in who I am as a person. So I think that, just in terms of, the changing landscape of social media and new media and how that's integrated into artistic practice, it's enormously changed. In some ways it makes it easier, and in some ways it makes it a lot more complicated. But there's definitely a lot more opportunities and a lot more ways for artists to not only think more creatively about different processes and different mediums, but how to engage their practice with the public. Yeah. Okay, so specifically as artist, to move outside of your comfort zone. So much about art is facing your fears, challenging yourself. So to me, especially for artists who are in school, who are studying, sort of moving beyond just the level of, you have to have your foundations, you have to learn how to draw, you have to sort of getting these basics. While you're getting these basics, this is the perfect time for you to be exploring other ideas that aren't your own, other perspectives, other disciplines. I think a mentor of mine had said once that if you want to be an artist, then you need to study religion. You need to study philosophy. You need to read, great literature and really bad literature, and really explore everything that's out there. So it's this sense of trying to do what you can to engage with the world and learn who you are within it. And you're all, I think, in a very prime moment in your life where everything's new. It's a really exciting moment.
Why do you think that they should go out of their way or not out of their comfort zone to, learn? Why do you think that?
Well, I think that if we only stay within our sort of span of perception, our own sort of span of reasoning, we close ourselves off to experiences that will actually make us greater than what we are. I think that one of the reasons why I went down the path of art is that there is much more, I'm a pretty seeking kind of exploratory person, so there was a lot more encouragement of, going off and sort of understanding things for yourself and, sort of, building your own sense of self-discipline and exploration, so.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
Good advice.
Advice for people who want to become teachers.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Gosh, I don't, I think that you have to be really committed to it. It's sort of the premise of the bodhisattva. The monk who puts his own enlightenment off so that others can be enlightened. They sort of stave off nirvana in order to help other people. It's very self-sacrificing in a lot of ways. I mean, you do have to balance a lot your own artistic practice, your own writing. And a lot of times you'll find me in my office and I'm writing something or I'm editing one of my own videos or something like that. It's a balancing act. It takes a lot of it. It takes someone who can really, I think, if you're going to integrate your own practice and your own art, kind of creative life with teaching, you have to find a way to not only kind of pragmatically balance out these different roles, but to somehow, they should always serve your teaching in a way. So in other words, the more active and creative you are in your own artistic practice in your own life, and the more engaged you are with what's going on in the field, I think the better teacher you are. I think it's very important for people who are in the arts once they become teachers to continue to be active in what they're doing. It just enhances their teaching that much more. And of course it's a balancing act in doing that. But that's what I would emphasize is, don't do this if you're not really, really passionate about it and really passionate about spreading that to other people, There's having your own vision and having your own voice in whatever kind of artistic practice that you're in, but there's also sort of getting stuck in that. There's nothing worse than sort of seeing someone's work stay exactly the same for for years and years and years. That they're very kind of stuck in their own sense of perspective. Once that I don't see how it's possible to be teaching and not to somehow bring in other perspectives, because oftentimes your students are bringing in ideas that you hadn't considered, and you're learning as much from them in the best scenarios. Yeah. There's always there's this unique thread, I think, that you see with some of the best artists are really good at this, that no matter what kind of work they're doing, whether they're doing painting or they're writing something or they do a print or they end up doing a performance art piece, that there's something there that you see their unique perspective, their unique viewpoint within it. But they're bringing their own sensibility to the table of new concepts, new information. So they've added something to it, rather than just sort of repetitively doing the same thing sort of over and over again. Yeah. And I'm shamelessly plugging myself, okay. Well, I guess you could go to, I have a website, it's erindevine.us, and you can find links to my art criticism. You can find some information on the artwork that I produced and also my curatorial projects. Mm-hmm.